real quality of wanting to serve. Service. In German, Halliday found a nice word for that. He calls it dahinschenken. Dahinschenken oder daherschenken. Sich zu verschenken. Das ist eine interessante Übersetzung von Sharanagati als solche oder liebevollem Dienst. Loving devotional service, to give yourself as a gift. You see, to consider service a gift, it is a question of the motivation. For example, when you give yourself out of a sense of duty, that's not such a high level of giving yourself. Like a kind of, I have to give myself, I owe something, I am indebted. So this kind of giving service, it's, you see there's 4 levels of relationship to God. Out of fear, out of duty, out of attachment, and out of love. When you relate to God in the mood of fear, you also become duty-bound. Like we obey a policeman when he comes with a big stick. Then we go, ooh, yeah, what do you want me to do? Please don't hit me, you know? But you don't have a feeling of duty towards him, you don't have attachment, you don't have no love. But you do have fear, no? Yes. What am I supposed to do here? Huh? So this out of fear, this is of the devotional relationships, it's the lowest. But it's real, because the karmic laws exist. And the karmic laws are fear instilling. When you understand that my wrong behavior will be chastised in a very severe response, that instills fear. You think about repeated birth and death, that also instills fear. So, no doubt, fear exists. So when we talk about devotional service to the Supreme Lord, then the Lord is not very attracted by the service rendered with fear. But then the next level of service is service rendered out of sense of duty. Because I feel the sense of duty. I feel I have to. I feel I should. I feel I must. That is good, because why? A new feature of our Bhagavatam class background, I must say, a unique contribution of Bhakti. Make the class more interesting. cosmic sounds of. So the service out of duty is not so charming, but it's better service out of duty than no service, no? It's better service out of fear than no service, but that's already questionable. But not so questionable, because if a person is afraid of doing the wrong thing and therefore he does the right thing, then isn't that better he does the right thing because he's afraid of doing the wrong thing, than rather he's doing the wrong thing and he's not afraid of doing the wrong thing, and so he's doing nothing good. So the relationship with God out of fear, in the Bible it says you should love and fear God, no? So in Bhakti Yoga we don't use that very often. We don't apply that. We say, oh, you should fear Krishna, because it sounds ridiculous. And Krishna is also not, he doesn't want that. But when Putana comes, when Trinavarta comes, when these rascals come, they end up fearing him a bit, huh? And they end up being squashed as well. So Kaliya, such an aggressive personality of Kaliya, such a contaminator, such a shameless fellow, horrible ego personality is Kaliya. And Krishna kicked his head, gave him this one kick after the other, What an incredible performance is that, the Kaliya Nag lila of Krishna. And finally Kaliya Nag is finished, crushed, the ego crushed, and Krishna graciously forgives. All these lilas of Krishna, they're really something, really, really meaningful. So the sense of duty performance, the devotional service out of sense of duty. This is in the temple, when the temple president tells you, listen Prabhu, you're eating here, you're sleeping here, you ought to do something as well. And then the devotee says, well, Maharaj, it's okay, what shall I do? It's not very ecstatic, It's not that the temple president is like melting away by that attitude, And neither does Krishna melt away, And you say, well, at least he realized he has a duty being here and taking advantage of Krishna. So some sense of duty is there, so he's not all lost. Because if somebody is really naughty and really lazy, sometimes the temple president says to him, do you really feel it was that what you wanted, to live in a monastic community? You may prefer to stay somewhere else. No, I prefer to stay here. But then you have to do something. Otherwise you may have to be relocated. Relocated. Okay, what do I have to do? What's the minimal requirement for being here? Please make sure not give me anything extra except the minimal requirements. I'm happy you're laughing, so it means you can share the humor of the situation with me, Because if you're a temple president or a temple commander, you can sing a whole song about that story. Then you have it like daily with everybody when it comes to devotional service fine-tuning. When it comes to the question, is he going to do something? is he going to make this movement thrive or throb? So, our spiritual teachers have given us the Haridas Thakur example. Haridas Namacharya Haridas Thakur, he chants 3 lakhs of names a day, which is an identical of practically 22 hours of service and maybe 2 hours of sleeping. Don't ask me how he does that, but we are also having an understanding. It is a kind of a devotional service degree of surrender. How intensive is your surrender? How dedicated? How, for example, it sounds a bit mechanical, but it works out that way. A good devotee who's really taken Krishna to heart, he's serving Krishna at least 8 hours a day. Means 8 hours a day he does things for Krishna, just for Krishna and nothing else. That includes his rounds, the classes he hears, the service he does. So, in a basic life schedule of a devotee, you can give it more or less. But if you live in an ashram, it's more. In an ashram, living in an ashram, it means plus his sadhana 8 hours of service. So that means practically the day is filled out. But not really, because the day has 24 hours. It doesn't have only 8 or 10. And you sleep 5 or 6 hours. And if you're very weak, maybe 7 or 8 hours. So that's okay. It still leaves you with another 6, 7 hours at your disposal. But what you're going to do in that time? What is it? What's your spice of life? You see, what you do in your free time, that's what's your spice. That's what you consider important in life. Facts and figures, what can you do? The Bible says it even more grossly. It says, a man invests his money where his heart is at. So, pretty gross, no? But so true. So where the man brings his money? What is he doing with his money? That's where he has his heart. So time is money. So what you put, where you put it, actually time is not money, I'll come to that later, but they say time is money. So therefore, that time, your free time, where you locate that, that's where your heart is at. That's what you really want to do, what you really want to achieve. Now, for Rasik Bhakta, all these things do not exist because he lives, he thrives in his Rasik emotion. And he does everything for love for Krishna. He cannot understand even all this topic. In Uttama Adhikar, he doesn't discriminate. He just sees everything in the floating sweetness of divine love. And he's always engaged in service, and he cannot even discriminate between one service and the other. It's just as it comes, as Krishna sends it. He's always ready. This is life. So, coming back to the service as a sense of duty. The type of service is rendered because there's some intelligence. Because a person understands, if my activities will not please my Lord and supplier of everything, then I am not duty bound. I'm not grateful. I'm disruptive. So it cannot be. I cannot be that way, so I'll do it. They ask him, are you ecstatic about this? I've told that story many times because once I was thrown in jail in Paraguay because I had a Zika. That time the fascism in Paraguay was so strong. The government and the Catholic Church had made a truce. The Catholic Church said, we will give support to your dictatorship. And you in return keep every other religion out of Paraguay. So therefore, they were always looking, is there any other? The police had a direct order. If they find any symptom of the presence of any other religion in Paraguay, to immediately stop it. So I came into the airport. It's a long story, but I had to go to Paraguay by emergency. We didn't know about that strictness of that was about the same time the Catholic Church made a truce in Argentina with that dictatorship. And that was at the time there was about to come a revolt against the dictatorship. We're talking about 30 years back, no? And they were and so the Catholic Church and the dictators, they made a pact. You get rid of all the religious movements and we give you support. At that time, it was so heavy that they came in a temple in Buenos Aires and they confiscated all the books. The deities were just saved a day before. The deities were taken out and secretly taken to Brazil. The devotees were all arrested, harassed, everything. The temple was closed by the government. For no reason. There was no court case or nothing. Just the deal made with the Catholic Church. Nice guys, huh? Anyway, that's politics and religion when they mix up, what you get to. Where it gets really tight. So we were living right in that situation. As a matter of fact, I was in Brazil at that time. There was another military dictatorship in Brazil as well. So we were a little bit scared because when these politicians, they take this power, when a conditioned soul gets all the power, that's a ghastly scene, I tell you. Ghastly. In Colombia, we have like 3 or 4 groups taking the power in a ghastly way. There's the guerrilla groups. They are absolutely authoritarians. If you don't do what they like, they kill you. Then there's the paramilitary group, and they're also completely authoritarian, and they're also guerrilla groups. So you have a left-wing guerrilla, right-wing guerrilla. Both of them are totally obnoxious people, and they do whatever they want. And then they have the official government, which is maintaining the right wing. So, in a way, you are in between of the madness by 3. Authoritarian. So, when you preach, you have to have some concern about this. You can't just ignore all that. I mean, in Colombia, the devotees, they're preaching in the midst of those turmoils. We had shootouts between the guerrillas and the government only a kilometer in front of our farm. That's these days are more peaceful, but it came that close. Guerrillas coming in and out, government in and out. It's like a civil war. And the worst thing of all, but this is now getting political and I'm going to cut it right here, otherwise I'm going to get sidetracked. But the worst thing of all is that these things are really manufactured just for the big people to make money. Just to justify that things are out of control and that they can keep going making their drug trading, they keep these things. Terrible. And the whole world's government, they're all involved in this. This is a dirty world. We have to go to Goloka Vrindavan. This is a dirty world, and it's going to stay that way in Kali Yuga at least. Anyway, I was speaking about the Paraguay situation when I was in jail. All of a sudden I found myself in jail, handcuffed, because I had a Zika. I said, uh-oh. I said, what's going to come here? So when I was in jail, there was one guy, one policeman. He was torturing the prisoners. All kinds. He physically tortured. I don't know for what purpose, just to show that he was the big guy. Beat them on the heads, on the knuckles with sticks and things like that. Have them scream there. Pretty hellish, no? That jail that didn't even have rooms. There was a big patio with some parts. It was really like, you have to go to such a place to know what it's like. I'm grateful for the experience, I must tell you. Because if you never see such things, you never yourself in that position. It's just a movie experience, And you don't know what it really is to be hijacked by a guerrilla and put into the jungles and all this stuff. Like our Vrindavan Chandra, he was kidnapped for 2 weeks by the guerrilla in Colombia. So, anyhow, I was in this jail, and I was terribly bored. So what am I going to do here? How am I going to get out of this place? So the torture guy came, and he looked at me. And he was thinking to torture me. He was having fun. He was a sadist. I mean, these sadists are dangerous people. But he was afraid. Because I was German, He was torturing the people there. The people couldn't... He was a bit afraid of torturing me. So at least 4 or 5 times he came by. And he was always... I could see it in his eyes that he wanted to torture me. That's what the hellish material existence is like. One man or one person tortures another for his fun. The next day he came again, and I saw a light in his eye. He said, I found a way to torture you. He said, come. He had a stick in his hand. You clean the bathroom, or I'll torture you. Now, you should have seen that bathroom. That bathroom was like a whole... I know there maybe have been 400, 500 prisoners in that patio, It wasn't like a hotel, with nice private rooms. They had a few special confinements for. Anyhow, so he said, clean this bathroom. There was like so many, maybe 30 dirty. They had been ceramics at some time. I couldn't see any ceramics. It was just holes with stool all over, And he said, you clean that. I tell you, I had an inner revolution. I looked at him and he enjoyed, my God. He enjoyed seeing me. And then I said, Krishna, why do you put me in this situation? I was 22 years old. I wasn't a sannyasi yet, but I was in charge of many temples, even at that time. And I thought to myself, that is because you have not cleaned the temple bathrooms. You have not cleaned the temple bathrooms. Now Krishna is telling you. You learn your bathroom cleaning lesson. So I opened my eyes and smiled at him. I said, where are the brushes? So it took me hours, I don't know, 6-8 hours, scrubbing and cleaning and water and scrubbing and putting. And I was so ecstatic. I was feeling such a joy. I was feeling like I was cleaning the bathrooms of the devotees. I said, Krishna, yes, you want me to become humble. Yeah, I better become humble because, even when you're a leader, I was 22 and I was in charge of so many people's spiritual life because Prabhupada wasn't there was no other sannyasis, I was the big shot. Huh? Hey, you become proud. You think, I'm somebody, whoever I am, But I must be important. Prabhupada's representative and directing the worship of Krishna and publishing books, you get proud. So I must have been very proud so that I got the bathroom therapy there. And I kept scrubbing and washing, and I put on a gamsha, of course, everything was done in a gamsha. And I started chanting and chanting. And this guy came, I couldn't understand the world. He could not understand the world. I think his first understanding of devotional service must have been born in that day. In a perverted way, but I had a great time. I left those bathrooms sparkling. Must have gone into the history of the prison, the first and only time this bathroom was clean. Anyhow, so this was an indirect devotional service. Because I could understand very clearly, this is Krishna's mercy upon me. And ever since that day, I visit bathrooms in a different concept. Whenever I see the bathroom dirty, I don't say anything, I just clean it. I learned my lesson. Right? Because cleanliness is next to godliness. It's wonderful to have things clean. So devotional service has so many different, like there's another approach to it that you see you execute devotional service with how much tamaguna is there still in you, how much rajaguna is there still in you, how much sattva guna is there. So it's not that everybody does the same service in the same attitude, in the same understanding. No, it depends on his consciousness, depends on his vision, depends on his degree of clarity, depends. You see, in the Ueda therapy, we have identified the 3 modes of material nature in the following way. The sattva guna we have called purity in purpose, or the desire to serve in the best way you can. In the rajaguna we have called selfish, too much obsessed with oneself in one's attitude, but concerned to not commit great mistakes. And the tamaguna we have identified as inconsiderate in all one's affairs. Don't care for laws, don't care for the pain of others. Just do whatever hell you like. So in this way we have kind of given Tama, Raja and Sattva a certain kind of a practical naming. Sometimes you translate something. Like if a devotee says Sattva Guna, they think a lot of things. If a non-devotee hears Sattva Guna, he goes and looks at the dictionary. It says Sattva, clean, truthful. Clean, truthful. That makes, but for devotees, Sattva Guna means so much, means so many implications. A whole world opens. Raja Guna, another world opens. Tamaguna, another dark world opens. So, because in Raja, Sattva and Tama, you have to fit in everything. You mean in Tamaguna even the concentration camps fit in? You see? The intoxicated youth who steals money from others and then injects heroin, that's already Tamaguna. So within Tamagunas there's so many chambers of getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. But this is the region of Tamaguna. And then there is this Shuddha Sattva or Vishuddha Sattva consciousness, which is actually our goal, where we are hitting at, where we want our target. It is that Vishuddha Sattva means it is a divinely inspired and divinely dedicated spirituality, where your attitude has only one wish, which is to be perfectly situated and to go to the final destination without any impediment and without hesitation, but rather running towards love at any time. That is the highest, the best, the purest attitude. Always running towards love. And that is Prem Bhakti. This is love. Of course, then within the Vishuddha Sattva, there may be still different degrees, as full enthusiasm for self-realization, more fuller enthusiasm for embracing the Divine Lord's sweet will and becoming His instrument, and the even more fuller enthusiasm of simply fine-tuning everything to enter the sweet lila of Krishna and to simply become submerged in that realm of divine ecstasy in total surrender. Something like that. Words are sometimes hard to pick to describe such realms of lofty, divine feelings and consecration. But this is very high now. We are not there. So we are more in the triguna, in the three modes of material nature, devotional service attitude. When a devotee fights with each other, they argue, why should I always clean the dishes? Why not somebody else? In what mode is that devotional service? Huh? Where are you there? Rajaguna mostly. Why I? Srila Bhakti Bhalabhtirtha Maji told a funny story about the different devotees' excuses for not doing service. And it was very funny when he told that story. I think he told it here in Berlin when he was here. He said there was the one is the why always I? That was one of them. The other one was the error servant. He goes away when he's told to make a service and he don't come back. So service doesn't get done. Then the bumblebee, he's always going, He's always making some sounds. You remember more? Oh, the one was like Gurudev says, "Can you please bring a book?" And you just turn around. "Can you please bring a book?" Gurudeva said. He's the pass-on service. He's very serious about it, you know. Gurudev wants a book. So why didn't you get it? What do you mean? Me? I'm just telling you what Gurudev wants. That's another one of those excuse makers. I have too much to do. So many pretext. When the three modes of material natures diminish the quality of our service, this is all within Rajaguna, really. We cannot claim any affiliation with Sattva Guna when there is a disinclination to do something. Devotional service is purely ecstatic. To do something for Krishna, to make the temple work better, to collect some laxmi for the temple, or whatever the Guru asks us, it should make us purely ecstatic. And that's what the teachings are. Look what Sandipani Muni sent his kids out to bring some firewood, and Krishna and Sudam, they went, "Oh, let's get Gurudev." And sometimes you don't find firewood everywhere, you know. It's like, so you have to go deep in the forest to see if you can find some broken twigs and pieces to bring for firewood. So Krishna and Sudama, they went deeper and deeper, and all of a sudden there was a big rainstorm, and it became so dark they couldn't find their way back. They had already collected some firewood, and it was getting dark, and so they took shelter under some brushes and trees, and Sudama and Krishna, they hugged each other there, and in that way they fell asleep. They didn't find their way back. You can imagine the Krishna lila. What kind of a lila? It's not easy to understand. You don't apply your intelligence to it. Apply your heart or forget about it. So there they are, hugging each other. And Sandipani Muni almost goes crazy. Where's the boys? I sent them to get firewood and they didn't come back. And then the storm. Oh my God. These boys are somewhere out there in the forest, in that rain and storm. And oh, what did I do? So worried. So, as soon as the first light comes, Sandipani and some of the other students, they go out, let's look for them. And they find them, hugging each other there. Krishna and Sudama. Then Sandipani Muni said, "You boys are so devotional. You have done such an amazing effort to try to please your guru that you had to go into this very austere experience at night in the jungle, in the storm." Anyway, Krishna and Sudama, they actually had a great time. Adventures, you know. Life is full of adventures, you know. Shouldn't always expect everything to be just boringly the same. There gotta be some adventures. So, but when Sudama visited Krishna many years later in Dwarka, that's another long story, they remembered those days at school. Krishna Lila is an unforgettable emotional invitation to the world of love. And everything you do in this connection, the more you become attached to it, the more fortunate you are. This is fortune. To become attached to Krishna lila, Krishna Harikatha, then this will be the exact same degree of you not being attached to Maya. And this is the sum and substance of spiritual life, that you don't want to be attached to Maya. You want to be attached to Krishna. You want to live in Krishna. It's the only real life we can hope for, our eternal life. So Krishna has come about and has given us these different degrees of service intensities because they are the approach. You see, there's this. People say, what's the meditation technique? And they think, okay, let me start meditating like another consumer item. Right? Okay, what's the mantra? Om Tat Sat. Okay? Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. It's like a technical thing, you know. I got the mantra, now let me do it. What am I going to get out of this mantra? It's not bath. It's not devotion. There's no heart melting. There's no internal upheaval. You know, it's spiritual life is. Yesterday, one girl told me she didn't know where her son was for 10 minutes. When a mother doesn't know where her child is for 10 minutes, then she goes through a lot of changes. It's not easy for a mother to tolerate not to know where's my child. You cannot describe what changes a mother goes through because there are just different degrees of desperation tending towards madness. So she becomes like a volcano. Otherwise, she's a very peaceful woman. Nothing's happening, smiling. But when she don't know where her child is and she's fearing for the child, she becomes a different person altogether. So, and then I said to her, so now you can understand what a guru feels when he doesn't know where his disciple is. And the guru doesn't know where is his disciple. And he can think that the disciple may not be in good shape. Disciple may be in big maya or something, you know. It's very painful for the guru. And worse, you can't do anything about it. The guru can't go crazy either. But is a very, when you cannot make sure that the people who depend on you are going on a good way into a good direction, there's no good news. There's no good news. It's like, what you do? Destiny, Maya. What can we do? So this is the way life goes. Srila, you can see Krishna, Ramchandra and Lakshman, the picture. You can hang it up somewhere outside in the space where you find, or there in between. So our increase of devotional sentiments is to speed us up on the way back to home, back to Godhead. It's like an attraction, you know. If you have seen a magnet is attracting something. You see first there is a certain movement. You feel the object is being attracted, right? But what happens when it comes in? It's an increase in speed from the first movement of being attracted by to the final. It's an incredible speed. Because as closer you get to the object, the magnetic attraction increases. So also the speed increases. So coming towards Krishna is like that, you know. In the beginning you're there in Tamaguna and you're hearing this, hey, you shouldn't smoke. No good for you, no devotion. So you start moving, okay, throw away the cigarette. Throw away the marijuana. And still this is, then you should also get up early in the morning. Oh, yeah, but the attraction is there, so you get up early. So in this way, you know, like you start moving in your devotional hesitation, in your resistance, in your attachment, but the magnetic force of the loving attraction of Krishna, it's working on you and you're, oh God, my goodness, when will this come? When will it come, this final being drawn into back to home, back to God, and no? Why you're clinging on? No, wait a second, you know, they're going to take away my money or what? My freedom, my independence. But something is keeping to attract me, because Krishna is the all-attractive one, you know. He's really like, he's pulling you to his sides. No? But on the other side, the Maya is also there. And Maya is also putting their magnetic powers, no? Now, what about the latest movies from Hollywood, Bollywood? What about dancing the rhythms of the techno? Why not go into the world of Maya? We have many things to offer. All these kinds of tastes and sounds and smells. In the world of Maya is there. You go, Krishna, Prasadam, come here. Oh, Prasadam. So yeah, like we are between these two magnetic forces, no? And still it's not that you're manipulated by the magnetic forces. You are moving on the definition, on the decision of your own surrender, of your own sincerity. You have to make out which way you want to go. Want to go to the light or you want to go to the darkness? It's real, it's not. We all can see it, we all can feel it. Maya's pushing here. Come on, white sugar is good. Come on, take another chocolate. And then a laddu offered to the Lord. That's very good, That's very goodness like. No, this Vishuddha Sattva Prasadam comes from the highest, you know. So in between of all the forces we are, you know. Like sometimes like we are, I don't know if it ever happened to you, that you ate something before you read the ingredients. It happened to me. Sometimes, somewhere. Somebody gave me a little piece of Toblerone chocolate. You know that's a famous chocolate. So, and then they had the pack and I said, eggs. God, horrible senses, you have subdued me again. Huh? Because you have to first read the ingredients and then think about whether you want to take it. If it ever happened to you, you know, this is like... So the safe solution is only eat prasad. Only eat what's offered to Krishna because somebody read the ingredients before offering it to Krishna. So in this way we are between the forces, no? And devotional service, now that's a very elevated consciousness, a very elevated move. Devotional service is when you surrender to the lotus feet of your spiritual master and you say Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavati Paskatya Dijatarine. And also Vansha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhaivacha Patitanam Pavani Vyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I offer my obeisance to all the great sages who have come to this world to give Krishna Katha, to represent the all-attracted, infinite enchanter of all living beings for the divine reality of their pristine destination as pure souls in the ever-increasing embellishment of the glory of your soul in contact with the lover of all. This is the real world. What the Tamaguna world has to offer. You want to run after Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and whoever man. Huh? What, you want to be there? You want to become Mickey Mouse? Or what is there? The exterminators and all this idiotic stuff what the Kali Yuga has to offer. It is like so ridiculous that anybody who has a little bit of sattva connection, he will go, no. What Maya has in the material world to offer, it's rather ugly. It's stupid. They're competing with each other and make it more ugly. Like modern architecture. If you see the horrible skyscrapers they make, this Dubai Tower, everything. Even the Twin Towers, which became the emblem of stupidity, of the world, cheating the whole world. The symbol of cheating. Couldn't be a bigger cheat in the world than that. This type of thing, this is what the material world has to offer. In the midst of all this degradation, the only really enchanting thing the material world has, you know what that is? It's called the Tamaguna feminine beauty. It's the only thing they have. A prostitute. A naked girl. Very beautiful. Very enchanting. Very enticing. She can come over and enjoy with me. It's a lie. She's not inviting you to enjoy. She's inviting you to suck your blood. She's a witch. And what kind of a witch? A crafty witch. And she's so beautiful and so entertaining and so enticing. The whole world is mad about her. But only thing she wants is your money and your blood. But she is powerful. I tell you that one. And who is she really? She's the Antichrist. She's the anti-devotion. She is the Durga Devi's personification. You see, even Kali, she looks pretty, doesn't she? What beautiful female figure is that of Kali? ugly with the tongue sticking out and all that, and the swords and all that stuff you think is a bit unnecessary. You would rather have her just naked. That's Kali. Kali personification. And it's an interesting approach because that's the only thing, everything, the rest is horrible. The material world without the beautiful woman, what is there? There's nothing. A guy with a needle, come on, I inject something in your arm and then you will feel, Frankensteinian offers of inventation, manipulations, tanks with shooting rockets and creating explosion with people torn to pieces. What the heck is that? Are you feeling attracted to that? Are you one of those demons who just want to devour children? Just bite off a leg and the head? Are you one of those demons? Those ghastly maximum, sometimes in Hollywood nowadays there's all these kind of demon figures, They try to make them look the most horrible they can even get it, Every time they try to invent a new horror monster. So you like to join one of them? Nice girls, would you like to have a monster boyfriend? Who's going to say, come on, beautiful girls of this world, here's a real monster waiting for you to be married with you. Like who? This is the real question, no? Who are those monsters? They are those who give trouble to others, those who give pain to others, those who cheat others, those who abuse others, those who torture others. They are the monsters, man. All these people who are deep down in the dungeon they don't look like the monsters in Hollywood, but they behave worse than them. They have a more nasty attitude than them. You never even see a picture of a monster raping a beautiful woman. Why not? Because it's not aesthetic, it's not attractive. So the monsters just take them and put them prisoners, but you never see that a monster rapes a beautiful girl because it just looks ugly. That would be appalling. So the whole illusion world is completely silly. You've got to be very unfortunate fellow to be attracted to the monster world, to the Maya world. And that's what it is. The material world without Krishna is a monster world. To different degree of monstrous activities, it's all very, very unfortunate. And even those happy hippies, I know what they are about because I was one of them. Happy hippies, long hair, nice band. Nowadays, all over with tattoos, maybe a few little items attached to your otherwise not so sufficient body, You get anything you want. You can get one in the tongue, one in the butt, one in the navel, one in the breasts, whatever you want, Become like an enhanced human being by their conception. Something God couldn't include in the model, they figure out how to get it, Like as if the people are not beautiful just the way they are. This is another funny way. This is so nice. This is what you're looking for? To be tattooed until the tip of your nose? Huh? I remember one person, he was mad and he had a spider web tattooed all over his face with a spider on his nose. He looked so ugly that really nobody could look twice. And he repented so much of having done that. Oh boy, was he crazy, you know. So, what tattoo you want to have? Think about it, your next tattoo. Whether you really need that. Now the tattoo businessman, they say, oh, this guy's bad, he's spoiling our business. But, you know, what is the material world offering? Be realistic about it. Be honest about it. It's horrifying. There's no flowers. Yeah, all the hippies, back to the hippies. They were so floating nice. Yes. All cool. Huh? Yeah. Happy smiling. And of course, of all the flowers, they really gave special attention to the cannabis sativa, the favorite of their flowers. That's because they didn't know what South America is about, because they have other flowers, you know. They leave cannabis to be something like for children to play. You really can go bananas there, you know. I won't tell you which they are. Even though it don't matter, you're all beyond that, fortunately. But so then the hippies, what the hippies do? Hippies go crazy. They destroy their mental resistances. Many of them end up in depression, if not all. They end up in irresponsible behavior with their children. They end up in be dysfunctional in society because they reject society, you know. But they reject society without creating a new society. It's not that they have a real alternative for appropriate behavior in the life or anything. They just hang out, you know. The hippies' greatest invention was Hearts 4, you know. No, okay, now we can be authorized hippies, you know. Like the government gives a special allotment to the lazies. Okay, if you're lazy, then you come here and you can become a lazy. That's terrible because so many people become lazy and they become so lazy that all their intelligence they have to occupy in how to maintain themselves as lazies. Because the system makes it not so easy, so you have to kind of float along with the system. So the hippies, I tell you, this is another ugly thing. I mean, I like them. They're like my folks, you know, from before. And I wish them all to become devotees. But nowadays, I don't see any beauty in their dirt. I don't think it's beautiful. It's leather jackets and all this stuff, you know. That time in my hippie time was the biggest fashion was the Afghan leather jacket with stitching on it. That you wanted to be really in hippie, you had to have one of those, you know. The hippie fashions. Yes. Hippie fashions, punk fashions, funk fashions, rap fashions, hip-hop fashions. It's just all nonsense. It's just another illusion, confusion. The Vedas identify it very simple. Profit, adoration, and distinction. You want to get profit? Enjoy. Profit means enjoying. Adoration, be adored by some. And distinction, make sure you don't look like the others. Have to make something, doesn't matter what. Maybe you have to have like your whole hair like Mickey Messer, huh? Like all kinds of hairs tied together in different colors. Maybe you look different. Maybe people say, wow, that's a unique haircut. Some people, they spend $100, $200 in their crazy haircuts. Specialized. You have to invest in your hair, you know. I mean, it grew out pretty nice just by itself. But you have to make something with it, like to become the extraordinary of them. Like this, in this way, people are really sick in something. I'm sorry, it looks silly. Put all those punkies and all these people in one picture and you think, yeah, that's Kali Yuga, definitely. It fits the bill. Huh? This is Kali Yuga. You can put them and the G8 on the other side, make a group photo, you say, bye-bye world. Huh? It's time for a change of period soon, because these guys are just going to drive this world mad. And this is what's the fashion today. This is what's going on. I'm not exaggerating. Even I cannot put it all in words. What's the ghastliness of this world? What's been going on there? On the other side, please don't think I'm a negative person, because there's beautiful things. I mean, come on. What's more beautiful than a beautiful woman in a sari with a tilak making artik to the deities? I mean, you want to talk of aesthetics? That's absolutely fantastic. What's more beautiful than a Bharatnatyam dancing of devotional rendering, when these most beautiful gopis all dressed up with all the points and they're expressing their love for Krishna? Men are never beautiful. There's nothing you can do about it, you know. They try, but it's a hopeless case, you know. Even in the dhoti they look funny, you know. But whether they're in a striped suit with tie, or whether they're in a dhoti, or whether they're in a hip hop or whatever, they always look strange. No? So then they want to run around bodybuilding. Have you seen those guys? These muscle mans. I mean, just put a monster head on them and they go right into the into the monster scenarios. You know? It's horrible. Why they have to do that? Torture their bodies. Besides that, when they take all this stuff to become so bodybuilders, they all end up sick old men. That's when you do anything you do with your body, you overdo it, you end up sick. The body is just normally nice, keep it nice, use it for God, be happy and die. What more you want? But you do anything else, like you're overdoing, like those people are doing these sports exercises every day. When they become old, they get big problems. Their joints are overspent, and all kinds of difficulties they go through just because they wanted to make a show which wasn't appropriate. Anyhow, we have so many beautiful things. Look at our beautiful children. I mean, is anything, if you want to see beautiful things, look at the beautiful children. Beautiful Vaishnava children, they're even more beautiful. When you see the Vaishnavas, the little kids of the Vaishnavas, your heart has to melt. If your heart doesn't melt with the children, well, you got a good rock there. I don't know what's your next birth going to be. You know, if your heart cannot melt for the children of the world. And this is our work. Our mission is to save the children of this world. And of course, in front of God, we are all children. We always remain children. Even if you're 80 years old, you're still a little baby in front of Krishna and in front of a pure devotee. You know, some old 80-year-old nagging lady. The Guru says, yes, baby, what you need? I want prasadam. Okay, here's your laddu. Thank you. You know, in other words, if we are not Krishna conscious, we are childish anyway. It's all childish. And I tell you, when I see the so-called seniors or senior, when I see them fighting with each other, I've seen people like they're 40, 50, and they're fighting still over nothing. Just like kids. And if this is my pen. No, my pen. Huh? Just as silly the big guys fight. Just the little items change. It's my iPod. Huh? God. And I really, it's not only they fight, but they make each other's life easily miserable, just like children in the kindergarten. So, forget it. The material world isn't worth it. This is just a playground to get out, back to home, back to Godhead. This is the learning ground, definitely. There's nothing you're going to do about it. I don't think we're going to just make everybody just understand the natural beauty of the soul and the natural beauty of love. You see, devotional service and attachment, not out of duty. No, it's because you love it. You want to do it. Devotional service. Wow. Guru Dev asked me to open a temple. Whew. Somewhere there is no temple yet. That's tough. That's incredible. I have to go there and start from zero. One time there was a girl from Finland and she translated The Easy Journey to Other Planets to Finnish, and then she blooped. So I was in a temple in Stockholm in that time, and I had this manuscript. You know, our duty was it to have Srila Prabhupada books in all the languages in the world. So there was the first manuscript in Finnish. And so I said, what am I going to do? Well, we didn't have any other devotee speaking Finnish there, so I said, let me do what Prabhupada do. Let me go to Finland and find somebody. So I took the manuscript and a pair of kartals. And I took a ferry boat from Stockholm to Helsinki. I remember it was very strange. When I went through customs, at that time there were still customs even there. So the customer looked at it and immediately went to this manuscript. He said, what's this? I said, it's a Finnish book. I want to get somebody to read. So then I went out of the customs and I said, where am I going to find somebody? I said, Prabhupada preached to the hippies. So I went into a store which looked like a health food store or something. And I said, can you tell me where's the square in Helsinki where the hippies hang around? Because every big city had a place like that. So I can go there and play kartals and see what happens, you know. And the guy said, why you want to know that? I was in Dodi, no? He said, well, I want to meet some people to help me with some book. He said, what book? I said, well, first one I asked, this book. I need this book to be put in good Finnish because it was done by a girl and she wasn't so experienced, but she did that and we want to print this book. He said, I can do that. I said, yeah, but you have a job. I can give up the job. I said, what, that really went fast. Faster than I expected, you know. So he said, so where do you come from? I said, I come from Stockholm. We have a temple there. He said, where are you going to stay? I said, I don't know. He said, you can come to me, my flat. So he spoke to the owner of the thing, gave up the job right on the spot. We went to his home, he arranged some things. 2 or 3 days later, we were on a boat back to Stockholm. He finished the book, then he went back to Helsinki, got it printed there. So, just trust in Krishna, my friend. When you have some desire to do something from Krishna, you don't have to worry, it's already taken care of, but you just have to be there and do your job. Just be there and tolerate and wait and see. Maybe Krishna would have wanted me to sing 1 week Hare Krishna in the park. Why not? I was ready. I wanted to do anything to get the job done. So in this way, whatever you do with certain attachment, that's devotional service with attachment. Nobody told me I had to go there. That was my wish to have Prabhupada pleased by having a book of his finished. And Prabhupada was very pleased. Anytime Srila Prabhupada got a new book of his translated into another language, Prabhupada was very, very pleased. Why? You think he wanted to have a name and fame, have his books in all the languages? Come on, that's not Prabhupada. He wasn't after name and fame. He knew that more poor children who are in despair in this Kali Yuga would find out that there is a true spiritual reality which is behind everything, which is absolute beauty, sweetness and love. And it's Goloka Vrindavan, and you can go there. You are invited. You don't have to stay here. And you go there with all the beautiful women, with all the beautiful children, with all the beautiful paraphernalia. Because last not least, I've been around the world. I've seen many places. There's nothing as beautiful. Nothing as beautiful as a temple. Especially when it is an eco-community Vaishnava city. I have to admit, there's something almost as beautiful from the external point of view. You know what that is? Japanese or Buddhist gardens. Boy, they make them beautiful. They really care they see the Buddha in every plant or something like that, no? My goodness, I've seen such beauty. Real beauty. But it's missing the Vaishnava touch. It's missing the Haribol, Haribol. It's missing a lot of things. Missing prasadam also. So I couldn't trade. Even though the devotees, they usually don't take care for their gardens so well. I don't know, I haven't really managed that part yet. But still, these Vaishnava communities, these ecosystem, if I think of Vrindavan Jardín Ecológico in Ecuador, I go, the beauty of nature, this little cozy temple, right inside between the waterways, totally made of natural ingredients with the sweet smiling Lord Chaitanya there and the devotees sitting around it's almost heaven, no? Almost Vrindavan already, no? If it wasn't for the mosquito which come out at 5 o'clock and make you remember that you're in the material world still. So, yes, we have beauty. We are not lacking beautiful environments, beautiful settings. Look at Radha Krishna. They're always, they have their show totally outside. If you want to see a fashion show, well then go to the Radha Krishna fashion show. It's every day on. They're parading in front of us for the pleasure of all. There's Radharani with her garland. My Lord Krishna is the best. And Krishna with his charm, his flute. I love you, Radha. I play for you. I mean, the Radha Krishna fashion show, or you also see, sometimes you even see Jagannath pomp show. Jagannath Swami pomp show, and on his cards he goes out. Hey folks, how are you? Come on, take some laddus. And he throws his laddus. Come on, it's the Lord's pomp show is going by, no? I mean, you want to see beauty, and his smile is like from ear to ear, from eye to eye. And everybody's saying, that's a nice religion. I can't understand anything, but the laddu is nice, the kirtan is nice. It's the Lord's pomp show. And then he has the Tyagi show also, Lord Chaitanya. Total renunciation, total abnegation, going into the forest, going and preaching all over. And if you want the tough show, then go to Lord Nrsingadev. Better shape up or ship out, my dear. Huh? So, whatever you want to see, he has it. Huh? He is incredible. His beauty, his dimensions, galaxies, causal oceans. The earth was thrown into the causal ocean. Lord Varaha came, and first he took the earth back and put it in orbit. Who dared to disturb my wife, beloved Bhumi? Because when he took her up, he married her at the same time. Kind Lord, no? Not only he saved her, he married her. That's why she's Bhumi. Bhumipati is Krishna, the husband of Bhumi. So, and then he said, so who wants to have trouble here? And then Hiranyaksha came up, who are you? I'm in charge here. Really? Come on, let's have it. Let's see who is in charge here. Boom, 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 boom. And kaboom. Hiranyaksha finished. And his brother, the poor Hiranyakashipu. Oh, my brother, who killed you? I will. How you call it? Revenge. I will get revenge for you. I get that boar, I don't know where he went, but I'm going to get him. I'm going to make any austerity necessary to show as somebody more powerful. These are the histories of the universe, the power plays of the Lord, to show that he is everything. It's Aishwarya, Madhurya, royalty, topmost learnedness, and sweet love and care. Because when Krishna cares, his care is just unlimitedly sweet and kind. Just this morning I heard Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna is supremely independent. That is, he's the Lord and Master of all. But then we find out that he's a slave of Radharani. And he's completely captured by his devotee surrender. He cannot deny his devotee anything. So love is supreme even in the realm of the topmost lover and topmost controller. And that's bhakti. That's the world of love. That's why we should not worship God with attachment. We should try to reach the level of serving Him with love. Completely captured and enamored by Him. That should be our goal of our God relationship. There's no way to get out anymore. I love Him. I'm mad for Him. It's very high, You see, sometimes ladies are in love with some guy and they're like mad. And they think when they cannot get his love that life has ended. Even some men are in love with women like that, but very rarely. Men are more superficial. But women, they can get, I want him. If I don't get him, nothing. So, I mean, if that love is possible between a man and a woman in this world, what about our love for God? Shouldn't it be at least of that intensity which we feel for a common mortal? Which has captured us completely and we cannot let loose, and we are obsessed with the idea. I don't say that this is very good for human beings, but you know, it's true. These things exist. Shurpanaka, she saw Ram and said, Ram, you're so handsome. There's nothing more beautiful and more desirable to me than to enjoy you. Come on, let's roam in the Dandaka forests together and enjoy. And Surpanaka, she was beautiful. She was really beautiful. Actually, she was a Rakshasi, but she had the power of transforming herself into a very beautiful. And she said, Ram, let's enjoy. Then Lord Ram says, oh, I accepted Ekpativrata. I accepted the vow to only accept one woman as my wife. And I married already that Sita there. And Surpanaka said, This woman is going to destroy my pleasure roaming with Ram. Never! I'm gonna eat her! And Surpanaka got out of her mind. She was so obsessed with Ram. She loved him so much, obviously, or she lusted so much after him, who knows what. So Surpanaka, she forgot herself of hiding herself as a demoness, and she approached Sita to kill her and eat her. That's what Rakshasas do, they eat others. So when Lakshman saw that, he said, oh, this is hard. And he quickly took an arrow and pierced off the tip of her nose. So Surpanaka's nose was cut off. And nobody would like that happen to him. And Surpanaka, who dared to cut off her nose? She saw Lakshman. He said, you better get out of here, otherwise I'll kill you too. So she ran. And Sita was saved. Lakshman saved Sita at that moment. Yeah? So, obsession, This is, Shurpanaka was obsessed. And she ended up without a nose. So, we should be in fullest and topmost degree of love with God and execute our devotional service in such a mood that there's nothing to be done except what has to be done. Difficult or not difficult, hot or cold, happiness or distress, doesn't matter what. Then your love for Krishna is that intensive, you really go back to home, back to God. Then you don't have to be born again here. Where the people are just a bunch of weakos, cheats, whimsical, wimpy, all that stuff, no? Isn't really worth it, I tell you. In this world, it isn't really worth it. too much ego, too much nonsense. Of course, if Krishna is in the center and two people really decide to live in Krishna conscious together, then they have a beautiful spiritual family. That's also possible. That's another beauty. A beautiful Grihastha family of really highly advanced, spiritually dedicated people. That's very, very beautiful. And so is the life of a traveling mendicant. It's also very, very beautiful. So in this way, everything which goes back to home, back to God, it is beautiful. Just like this beautiful Mela, in this beautiful forest, with this beautiful lake, and with the beautiful sunshine coming in here and telling us that we're going to have a beautiful day with our beautiful children playing, and the devotees talking to each other, becoming attached to each other, and looking at all the things Harikatha Ashram has brought here. Please, Ramachandra, make sure you have all the copies of the interesting things from the Harikatha Ashram for Spain and for Poland and for Sweden and Bulgaria. We have so much. I'm so thankful to Lalita Madhava Maharani because she's so careful to keep all those things, because there's so much stuff. Right now we don't even have time to look at it all or to listen all. Yesterday I spoke with Patti about all our performing artists. We have so many talented artists. They have done so many incredible things, and every day a new thing. Yesterday my heart was touched very much when Gaurangi showed me the latest book we are working on for preaching. Very simple preaching. Actually, we made it for children, but it turned out to be so simple and convincing. It is like preaching why we follow regulative principles. What is the principle of sacrifice for others? Very beautiful. Came out, and she's making some drawings for it. So we're going to make a little booklet or maybe something for preaching. I think it'll be the essence of the main part of our new Govinda magazine, which we're going to make for Berlin. The new Govinda magazine, since the old one was all sold out by Hanuman when he was here. So we have so much work to do. Anyhow, that was one thing Prabhupada said this morning. Krishna is really independent supremely, but he's controlled by the love of his devotee. But then Prabhupada said another thing this morning, I also want to share with you. That we are in rebellion towards our eternal Father. This doesn't look good for us. In this world, whoever you are, you should always remember who's your Father. You have an identity by your Father. You have a gotra in India by your father. You have an education. So even everybody in this world, in the second name is the name of the Father. So people say, and in India, even today, whenever you sign a document, you say, your name, son of, and you put your father's name. So we all know that, how important is our Father. But what about our original Father? Why we are so rebellious towards him? Why does science make it a point to prove that there is no original Father? Okay. People say, I don't know who's my father. Okay, but who's your mother? Well, my mother is my mother. Well, who is your mother? Who's the cosmic mother? Who's giving us, providing us everything? Is it your mother who makes the cauliflower grow and the tomatoes and the apples? No, she isn't. So who's our real mother? The Mother Nature. She's our real mother. So if you have a real mother but you don't know who's your father, it's just because you didn't ask or you didn't want to know or because you're in rebellion about it. Father is very important. Everybody has to know it and recognize it and go the way. Go the way of the Father. Because Father knows the best. So this is Krishna consciousness movement. He is our Father. Govinda Sundaram is our Father. Most beautiful Govinda. All enchanting Govinda. He's our Father. He's the role model of love. He's the role model of fatherness. He's the role model of everything. And he has his infinite energies, Parasya Shaktir Vividaya Shruyate, through which he makes sure that the whole creation runs. But he gives all the credit to Mother. This is the devotional way. You don't say, I did it. No. Krishna does everything, but he gives all the credit to Radharani, Saraswati, Durga, Bhumi. So I guess this is enough for this morning. It's 9:10 now. But I wish to have, do we have a program for